Hello everyone and welcome back to Stamps Old World US, the channel where we explore the fascinating history, rarity, and market value of classic United States postage stamps. If you enjoy discovering hidden treasures, learning about rare collectibles, and staying updated on today's stamp market values in US dollars, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another exciting episode. Today, we are taking a close look at one of the most recognizable stamps from the famous Liberty series, the beautiful 15-cent James Buchanan United States postage stamp. At first glance, this green stamp may seem ordinary, and many people have passed over it without realizing that certain versions can be surprisingly valuable. But the real question is this: how much is this stamp actually worth in today's collector market? Could the one sitting in an old album, inherited collection, or forgotten drawer be worth just a few cents? Or could it sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars? Stay with me until the end because we'll explore its history, rarity, grading, printing varieties, and real market prices. The James Buchanan stamp honors the 15th President of the United States, who served from 1857 to 1861. Although Buchanan remains one of the most debated presidents in American history, his portrait became part of one of the most successful definitive stamp series ever issued by the United States Postal Service. The Liberty series, introduced during the 1950s, featured many important American leaders, historical figures, and national symbols. These stamps were printed in enormous quantities because they were intended for everyday postal use, yet collectors soon discovered that not every copy was exactly the same. This particular 15-cent green stamp displays a detailed portrait of James Buchanan with the words United States Postage, printed in white across the upper right corner. The rich green background, sharp engraving, and balanced layout make it one of the most attractive stamps in the Liberty series. Even decades after its release, collectors admire its classic American design. One of the biggest factors affecting the value of this stamp is its condition. Stamp collectors use several grading levels to determine value. A stamp with bright original color, perfectly centered margins, undamaged perforations, and full original gum on the back is always worth considerably more than a heavily used copy. Even a small crease, torn perforation, thin spot, stain, or missing gum can reduce its value significantly. Another important factor is whether the stamp is mint or used. Mint examples have never been postally used and often retain their original gum, making them much more desirable. Used examples usually show cancellation marks from the postal system. While used copies are generally less valuable, exceptionally well-centered used stamps with light cancellations can still attract strong interest from collectors. Let's talk about today's market value. Most ordinary used James Buchanan 15-cent Liberty series stamps generally sell for around $5 to $7 depending on condition. Clean examples with attractive centering often bring $12 to $20. Mint never hinged copies in excellent condition typically range between $20 and $80. Premium quality examples with superb centering may sell for $100 to $300 during specialized stamp auctions. Now, here's where things become exciting. Certain printing varieties, plate number singles, error stamps, unusual color shifts, double impressions, dramatic misperforations, or stamps certified with exceptionally high grades can become extremely valuable. These rare examples have sold for $500, $1,000, and in exceptional cases even several $1,000s depending on rarity, certification, and collector demand. These are not common, but they demonstrate why experienced collectors always inspect every stamp carefully before assuming it has little value. Professional grading has become increasingly important in today's stamp market. Organizations that authenticate and grade stamps provide confidence to buyers, especially for higher value material. A professionally certified James Buchanan stamp with outstanding centering can command several times the price of an uncertified example because collectors know exactly what they are purchasing. Another reason this stamp remains popular is the continued demand for complete Liberty Series collections. Many collectors attempt to assemble every denomination from the series in matching quality. Because of this, premium examples of even common issues remain in demand. A collector searching for a perfectly centered 15-cent. James Buchanan stamp may be willing to pay a significant premium over catalog value to complete a high-grade collection. When evaluating your own stamp, pay close attention to the perforations around the edges. All perforations should be complete without tears or repairs. Examine the color carefully to ensure it has not faded. Look at the back of the stamp for original gum if it is mint. Check for any hidden creases by gently holding the stamp under light. Finally, compare the centering of the design within the margins. Perfectly centered stamps are much scarcer than many people realize. Storage also plays an important role in preserving value. Always keep stamps in acid-free albums or quality stock books. Avoid moisture, direct sunlight, excessive heat, and touching the surface with your fingers. Stamp tongs are recommended because natural skin oils can damage delicate paper over time. Proper storage ensures your collection remains attractive and valuable for future generations. Many collectors wonder whether they should sell immediately or continue holding older United States stamps. The answer depends on the quality and rarity of each individual stamp. While common examples may experience only modest price changes, premium quality certified examples have consistently attracted serious collectors at auctions. As interest in classic American philately continues worldwide, exceptional material often performs better than average copies. One fascinating aspect of stamp collecting is that every stamp tells a story. This James Buchanan stamp represents an important chapter in American postal history and reflects the craftsmanship of mid-20th century engraving. Millions were printed, but only a relatively small percentage have survived in truly exceptional condition. That difference in preservation creates the wide range of market values we see today. If you inherited an old stamp collection from your parents or grandparents, don't assume every green James Buchanan stamp is identical. Examine each one individually because differences in condition, gum, centering, cancellation, and possible printing varieties can make an enormous difference in value. What appears ordinary at first glance may deserve a closer inspection by an experienced collector or professional expert. As of today's collector market, you can generally expect common used examples to be worth $5 to $7, attractive used copies $12 to $20, mint examples $20 to $80, premium high-grade examples $100 to $300, and rare certified varieties or major printing errors anywhere from $500 to several thousand US dollars depending on their rarity and demand. Remember that every stamp is unique and actual selling prices vary according to condition, certification, auction competition, and current collector interest. The James Buchanan 15-cent stamp reminds us that stamp collecting is more than a hobby. It is a journey through history, art, and investment. Whether your stamp is worth a few dollars or several thousand, every collection has the potential to reveal an unexpected treasure. That is what makes philately one of the world's most rewarding hobbies. Next up, the beautiful 15-cent William McKinley stamp, one of the most admired stamps from the famous United States presidential series, often called the Prexies. At first glance, this dark blue stamp may appear to be just another vintage postage stamp, but experienced collectors know that certain examples can be surprisingly valuable. Depending on its condition, printing variety, and rarity, this small piece of American history could be worth far more than its original face value. Stay with me until the end because we'll explore its history, collector demand, rarity, and what this stamp is worth in today's market. William McKinley served as the 25th President of the United States from 1897 until his assassination in 1901. During his presidency, the United States experienced major economic growth and became a significant world power following the Spanish-American War. Because of his importance in American history, McKinley was chosen to appear on the 15-cent denomination of the presidential series, which was first issued in 1938. The presidential series became one of the most famous definitive stamp issues ever produced by the United States Post Office. Department, the design of this stamp is elegant and timeless. It features a finely engraved portrait of President William McKinley, surrounded by an ornamental frame with the words United, States Postage across the top, and the denomination of 15 cents, displayed prominently in both lower corners. The deep blue color gives the stamp a distinguished appearance. making it one of the most attractive designs in the entire presidential series. Although millions of these stamps were printed for everyday postal use, collectors quickly discovered that not every example is equal. Today, the value of this stamp depends on several important factors including condition, centering, gum quality, cancellation, printing variety, and whether the stamp has been professionally graded or certified. Condition is the most important factor. A stamp with bright color, sharp impressions, perfect perforations, and no creases, stains, tears, or repairs will always command a much higher price than one showing heavy wear. Even a tiny defect can reduce a stamp's market value significantly. Collectors are especially willing to pay premiums for stamps that have survived in exceptional condition after more than 80 years. Another important consideration is whether the stamp is mint or used. Mint examples have never been used for postage and usually retain their original gum on the reverse side. These stamps are much scarcer in perfect condition because many were eventually used for mailing. Used examples carry postal cancellation marks and are generally less valuable, although beautifully centered used copies with light cancellations remain highly desirable among collectors. Centering also plays a major role in determining value. Collectors prefer stamps where the printed design is perfectly balanced within the perforated margins. Perfectly centered examples are much harder to find than most people realize because the printing equipment of the period often produced slightly off-center stamps. As a result, superbly centered examples frequently sell for several times more than average copies. Now let's discuss today's market value. Most ordinary, used William McKinley 15-cent Presidential Series stamps typically sell for between $0.50 and $10 depending on overall condition. Well-preserved used examples with attractive appearance often bring $10 to $35. Mint-hinged examples usually sell for $20 to $75, while mint never-hinged copies in outstanding condition often range from $75 to $250. High-grade professionally certified examples can command much higher prices. Stamps receiving superior grading scores because of outstanding centering, fresh color, and flawless preservation have sold for $300, $500, $1,000, and in some exceptional auction cases, even several thousand US dollars. These premium prices are generally reserved for the finest known examples or unusual printing, varieties that are rarely offered for sale. Collectors should also examine the stamp carefully for printing errors and varieties. Misperforations, dramatic color shifts, double impressions, paper varieties, plate number singles, and other production anomalies are actively sought after by advanced philatelists. Even a common stamp can become highly valuable if it possesses a genuine printing error verified by an expert. If you own this stamp, take a few moments to inspect it carefully. Look at the perforations to ensure none are missing or damaged. Check the front for bright original color and clean paper. If the stamp is mint, examine the gum for originality and make sure there are no hinge marks or gum disturbances. Hold the stamp under good lighting to detect hidden creases or thin spots that may not be immediately visible. Professional authentication is highly recommended. For stamps that appear to be unusually well-centered or display possible printing errors, certification provides confidence to buyers and often increases the selling price because collectors know the stamp has been independently examined and authenticated. Proper storage is another important part of preserving value. Always keep stamps in acid-free albums or archival quality stock books. Avoid moisture, direct sunlight, excessive heat, and unnecessary handling. Use stamp tongs instead of your fingers to prevent oils and dirt from damaging the paper or gum. These simple precautions can help preserve your collection for decades. One reason this stamp remains popular among collectors is the enduring popularity of the presidential series. Many collectors spend years assembling complete sets with matching quality. Because of this, high-grade examples continue to enjoy strong demand from both beginning and advanced. Collectors around the world, many people inherit old stamp collections from family members and assume that every vintage stamp has little value. However, experienced collectors know that careful examination can reveal surprisingly valuable examples. A perfectly preserved William McKinley stamp may be worth hundreds of times more than an average used copy simply because of its superior quality and rarity. As of today's collector market, most common used examples are generally worth $0.50 to $10. Attractive used copies often bring $10 to $35. Mint examples usually range from $20 to $250, while exceptional professionally graded examples, rare printing varieties, and certified errors can sell for $500 to several thousand US dollars, depending on rarity, demand, and auction competition. Every stamp is unique, and final selling prices always depend on condition, certification, and collector interest at the time of sale. The 15-cent William McKinley stamp is much more than an old piece of postage. It is a remarkable piece of American history, an example of outstanding engraving craftsmanship, and for some lucky collectors, a valuable investment. Whether your stamp is worth a few dollars or several thousand, it deserves careful preservation and proper evaluation before being sold. Next up, the beautiful 16-cent Abraham Lincoln stamp from the famous 1869 pictorial issue. This elegant black stamp featuring President Abraham Lincoln is one of the most respected classics in United States philately. While many collectors recognize its historical importance, few people realize that certain examples can be worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars in today's market. If you have inherited an old stamp collection or discovered one in an antique album, don't skip this video because this stamp deserves a very careful examination. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, remains one of the most admired figures in American history. He led the nation through the Civil War, preserved the Union, and signed the Emancipation Proclamation, forever changing the course of American history. In recognition of his legacy, the United States Post Office honored him on several postage stamps. But the 16-cent issue from the famous 1869 series remains one of the most collectible. The 1869 pictorial issue was unlike any previous American stamp series. Instead of using traditional oval portraits alone, these stamps introduced elaborate artistic frames and unique designs. The 16-cent Lincoln stamp features a finely engraved portrait surrounded by decorative scrollwork, with the denomination displayed prominently at the top and bottom. The intricate engraving, detailed shading, and bold typography make this one of the most attractive classic United States stamps ever produced. Because this stamp was issued more than 150 years ago, surviving examples in excellent condition are becoming increasingly difficult to find. Time, humidity, careless handling, and heavy postal use have destroyed countless copies over the decades. That scarcity has helped drive collector demand and market prices steadily higher for high-quality examples. One of the biggest factors influencing value is condition. Collectors carefully examine the stamp's color, paper quality, perforations, centering, and overall appearance. A stamp with bright original color, sharp perforations, no creases, no tears, and strong eye appeal will always command a much higher price than one with visible damage. Even a tiny fault can reduce the value significantly. Centering is another extremely important consideration. Many 19th century stamps were printed with uneven margins, making perfectly centered examples exceptionally scarce. A beautifully centered Lincoln stamp with balanced margins on all sides is far more desirable than one where the design touches the perforations. Collectors also distinguish between unused and used examples. An unused stamp with original gum is much scarcer than a used copy because most stamps from this period entered the postal system. However, attractive used examples with light cancellations are also highly collectible, especially when they retain excellent color and clean paper. Now let's discuss the exciting part, today's market value. Common used examples of the 16-cent Abraham Lincoln stamp in average condition generally sell for $75 to $300. Better quality used copies with attractive centering and light cancellations often bring $300 to $800. Fine unused examples usually range between $800 and $3,000. Depending on gum condition and overall preservation, when we move into premium quality material, prices increase dramatically. Professionally graded stamps with exceptional centering and outstanding eye appeal regularly sell for $3,000 to $10,000. Rare certified examples in superb condition have realized $15,000, $25,000, and even more than $50,000 at major philatelic auctions. The finest known examples with exceptional provenance can achieve even higher prices when competitive bidding occurs. Another important factor is authenticity. Because valuable classic U.S. stamps have been forged over the years, serious collectors often seek certificates from recognized exportising organizations. A certified genuine stamp provides buyers with confidence and usually commands significantly higher prices than an uncertified. Example: collectors should also inspect their stamp carefully for unusual varieties. Printing errors, inverted centers, color variations, unusual paper types, rare cancellations, and plate flaws can substantially increase value. Even subtle production differences may make a stamp much more desirable to advanced collectors. If you own this Lincoln stamp, examine it under good lighting using a magnifying glass. Check that the perforations are complete and undamaged. Look for rich original color, clean paper, and balanced margins. If the stamp appears to be unusually well preserved or displays anything unusual, consider having it professionally authenticated before selling it. Spending a small amount on expert certification could potentially add thousands of dollars to its market value. Proper storage is essential for preserving such an important collectible. Keep the stamp inside an archival quality album or stockbook. Avoid direct sunlight, excessive humidity, and high temperatures. Never touch the stamp with bare fingers because oils from your skin can damage the paper over time. Always use quality stamp tongs when handling valuable philatelic material. The demand for classic 19th century United States stamps continues to remain strong among collectors worldwide. Historic issues featuring famous American presidents are particularly popular because they combine historical significance with long-term collector interest. As high-grade examples become increasingly scarce, exceptional specimens continue attracting strong competition at major auctions. Many people inherit old family stamp collections without realizing their true value. What appears to be just another old stamp could actually represent an important piece of American history worth thousands of dollars. This is why careful examination, accurate identification, and professional authentication are so important before making any decision to sell. As of today's collector market, average used examples of the 16-cent Abraham Lincoln stamp generally sell between $75 and $300. Higher quality used examples often reach $300 to $800. Fine unused copies usually range from $800 to $3,000. Premium certified examples frequently sell between $3,000 and $10,000. While the finest authenticated examples and rare varieties have achieved $15,000 to more than $50,000 depending on condition, rarity, certification, and auction demand. The 16-cent Abraham Lincoln stamp is far more than an old postage stamp. It is a remarkable work of 19th century engraving, a tribute to one of America's greatest presidents, and one of the most desirable classics in United States philately. Whether your example is worth a few $100s or tens of thousands, it represents an important piece of American postal history that deserves careful preservation. Next up, the beautiful 15-cent Statue of Liberty stamp, one of the most recognizable issues from the famous Liberty series of United States definitive stamps. At first glance, it may seem like a common vintage stamp, but experienced collectors know that certain examples can be worth far more than their original face value. Depending on condition, rarity, printing variety, and professional grading, this stamp could be worth anywhere from a few dollars to several $1,000s. In this video, we'll explore the history behind this iconic stamp, the factors that determine its value, and what collectors are paying for outstanding examples in today's market. The Statue of Liberty is one of the most powerful symbols of freedom in the world. Standing proudly in New York Harbor since 1886, it has welcomed millions of immigrants arriving in the United States and represents hope, democracy, and opportunity. Because of its national importance, the United States Post Office selected the Statue of Liberty as one of the central designs in the Liberty series, a definitive stamp series issued during the 1950s. That celebrated America's greatest historical figures and national landmarks. The 15-cent Statue of Liberty stamp features a beautifully engraved image of the famous monument standing on Liberty Island. The detailed artwork captures the elegance of the statue while highlighting the incredible craftsmanship of mid-20th century American stamp engraving. The deep blue frame, fine engraved lines, and balanced design have made this stamp a favorite among collectors for decades. Although millions of these stamps were printed for everyday postal use, not every surviving example is the same. Many were damaged through years of postal handling, exposure to moisture, poor storage, or careless removal from envelopes. As a result, well-preserved examples have become increasingly desirable among collectors around the world. The most important factor affecting value is condition. Collectors carefully examine every detail of a stamp before determining its worth. A stamp with bright original color, sharp engraving, clean paper, perfect perforations, and no tears, stains, creases, or repairs will always command a higher market price than one showing signs of wear. Even a small fault can significantly reduce its value. Centering is another critical factor. Perfectly centered stamps are much scarcer than average examples because printing equipment during the period often produced uneven margins. When the design is perfectly balanced within the perforated borders, collectors consider the stamp much more desirable, and prices can increase dramatically. Collectors also distinguish between mint and used stamps. Mint stamps have never been used for postage and usually retain their original gum on the reverse side. Mint never hinged examples are especially desirable because they remain in their original condition. Used examples show postal cancellation marks, but attractive used copies with light cancellations and excellent centering still enjoy strong collector demand. Now let's discuss what collectors are paying today. Most ordinary used 15-cent Statue of Liberty stamps generally sell for $0.50 to $8, depending on condition. Better quality used examples with strong centering often sell between $10 and $30. Mint-hinged examples usually range from $15 to $60, while mint never hinged examples in excellent condition commonly sell for $50 to $150. When we move into premium quality material, values increase substantially. Professionally graded examples with exceptional centering and flawless preservation often sell for $200 to $600. Rare plate number singles, printing varieties, dramatic misperforations, color errors, or stamps receiving superb grades from professional grading services have sold for $1,000, $2,500, and in exceptional cases more than $5,000, depending on rarity and collector demand. One exciting aspect of stamp collecting is searching for printing varieties. Small production differences can create highly collectible stamps. Collectors should carefully inspect their stamp for unusual perforations, ink shifts, color variations, paper differences, double impressions, or other production anomalies. Even a subtle printing error can dramatically increase market value if professionally authenticated. Professional certification has become increasingly important in today's philatelic market. Independent expertising organizations carefully examine stamps to verify authenticity, identify any repairs, and assign an official condition grade. Certified high-grade examples usually attract more buyers, and often sell for considerably higher prices than uncertified copies because collectors have confidence in their authenticity and quality. If you own this stamp, take time to examine it carefully. Look at the perforations around the edges to ensure none are damaged or missing. Check the front under bright lighting for strong original color and clean paper. If the stamp is mint, inspect the gum on the reverse side for originality. Finally, evaluate the centering by comparing the width of the margins around all four sides. These simple steps can help determine whether your stamp deserves a professional evaluation. Proper storage is essential if you want to preserve your stamp's value. Keep it inside an archival quality album or stock book made specifically for stamp collections. Protect it from humidity, direct sunlight, dust, and extreme temperatures. Never touch valuable stamps with bare fingers because natural skin oils can damage the delicate paper over time. Instead, always use stamp tongs when handling collectible stamps. The Liberty series remains one of the most popular United States definitive stamp issues ever produced. Many collectors spend years assembling complete sets, and demand for premium quality examples continues to remain strong worldwide. As more collectors enter the hobby, exceptional examples of classic Liberty series stamps continue attracting attention at auctions and specialized stamp shows. Many people discover stamps like this in inherited collections, family albums, or old correspondence and assume they have little value because they were printed in large numbers. However, experienced collectors know that condition, rarity, and certification make all the difference. Two stamps that appear nearly identical can differ in value by hundreds or even thousands of dollars simply because one is better preserved or possesses a rare printing variety. As of today's collector market, common used examples generally sell for low $50 to $8. Better quality used copies often bring $10 to $30. Mint-hinged examples usually range from $15 to $60. Mint-never hinged examples commonly sell for $50 to $150. Professionally graded premium examples often achieve $200 to $600, while rare certified varieties, printing errors, and superb grade examples have sold for $1,000 to more than $5,000, depending on rarity, condition, certification, and auction demand. The 15-cent Statue of Liberty stamp is much more than a simple piece of postage. It represents one of America's greatest national symbols, showcases the remarkable engraving artistry of the United States Post Office, and remains an important collectible for philatelists around the world. Whether your stamp is worth a few dollars or several thousand, it deserves careful preservation and close examination, because hidden treasures are often found in the most unexpected collections. Thank you for watching Stamps Old World US. I hope you enjoyed learning about the history, rarity, and current market value of the famous 15-cent Statue of Liberty stamp. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow stamp collectors. Leave a comment below and let us know if you own this beautiful Liberty Series stamp or if you've ever discovered a valuable stamp hidden inside an old collection. Until next time, keep collecting, keep exploring history, and remember that your next rare and valuable stamp could already be waiting inside your stamp album.